Hello YouTube, my name is Plazukas. Today's video is going to be on Stellar Blade. Today we're going to talk about exclusivity and why I think there is a 100% chance that Stellar Blade will come to PC. Looking at the current list of exclusive games on the PlayStation right now, it's actually smaller than most people I think perceive. And I think that maybe because Sony has done an effective job at slowly trickling these games that were exclusive onto PC, and it's done with as little fanfare as possible. So I don't think people realize that are in the PlayStation ecosystem that this has even happened to some degree or even care. But if you actually looked at what's currently exclusive to the PlayStation platform, it's rather a short list. Marvel Spider-Man 2 came out last year in October 23. Most likely it will not get a PC port, and we're guaranteed to get a PC port at some point until 2025 or potentially 2026. Early 2026 is my expectation. The Last of Us 2, which you would think would already be on PC, having been almost 4 years old, probably will release coincide with The Last of Us Season 2 on HBO. So that's most likely in 2025, unless that gets fast tracked and released in 2024. Then it would release in conjunction with the Season 2 series. Gran Turismo 7 is one of these weird services that exist that are also like live service that should be on multi-platform but has not made the leap. I don't know if that's a technology thing with is it Polymorph Studios? I can't remember the name of the studio that makes Gran Turismo 7. Obviously, it's one of the original exclusives and one of the games that has been praised, applauded, critically acclaimed, all the things, and it sells pretty well for Sony. I don't know if the recent iteration has done well, but I know previous iterations of Gran Turismo, would be one of their top IPs, and it's continuously getting investment. And the person that has been involved creatively with that series has been there from the beginning. I'm gonna say that this may never come to PC, but if it does, most likely it'll come anytime. I mean, let's be real. Okay, this has been a game that has been on the system for 4 years. Most other titles that are in that same release window have already released on PC. If it's going to come, it'll come anytime, but it may never come. We have God of War Ragnarok, which released in 2022. I think most likely this doesn't come until 2025. This is the best candidate for releasing in 2025, along with The Last of Us 2. Spider-Man 2 could go either way, depending on their release schedule. I think Insomniac has a really good idea how to port PCs now that they've done Miles Morales and Spider-Man 1, and it's the same engine, same basic creative process. So I think the port's going to be relatively easy. They've already implemented ray tracing. There's a lot of things that they learned from the PC release. I think that's allowed them to do it whenever they want to. It's just a matter of time. And Final Fantasy 16 is almost confirmed for 2024. There will be news later on, but it's most likely 2024. It may slip early 2025. That's coming to PC, and that's a third-party platform thing. You have Destruction All Stars, which will never come to PC because it's not being supported. The studio is, I think, shuttered. That was a complete disaster, but it's still technically a PlayStation exclusive. And then you have Demon Souls, which I do expect this year. And this could be a never one as well, depending on Blue Point's philosophy and Sony's strategic plan when it comes to ports or remakes and stuff like that from older PS3 titles. I think Demon Souls will be received relatively well in the PC community. The Souls series does do well. I would say even better on PCs than it does on consoles. There may be some red tape that prevents them from doing that, depending on, From Software was the original makers of this, and then it was Japan Studios, which is it was it was From Software with a collaboration of Japan Studios. Japan Studios has since been closed. I don't know if there's still red tape around the PC launch, if they can actually do that, seeing how it was it was a PS3 exclusive, so there may be some stipulations there. And the last one's going to be Astro's Playroom, which I don't think we'll ever see PC. I think that's going to be their mascot. It's replaced Little Big Planet to some degree. There's apparently a full-fledged game being built by that studio that made Astro's Playroom. Whether it's going to be Astro or some iteration of a new IP, we don't know. But I don't expect Astro's Playroom to ever come to PC. And that leaves us to what we have currently. Final Fantasy Rebirth, Rise of Ronin, which will come on the 22nd, and then Stellar Blade. I believe Rebirth's timeline is going to be probably early 2025, although it could surprise everybody and literally come out in 2 months. And it could come anytime after, I believe, June. And maybe they've already got the port ready for it, based on the fact that it's built in Unreal Engine 4. Final Fantasy 16 is built on a proprietary engine that's not Unreal. It's a kind of a modified Final Fantasy 14 engine, which has roots in PC, but I'm not sure what they did to modify it to make it complicated. And I think they just want to test it. I think they want to get as much PC performance out of 16 as possible before they release it, which they may actually do with Rebirth as well. So they may do a 2024 Final Fantasy 16 late release and then an early 2025 Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth. And that'll help their quarterly revenue as well. So that could be good for them strategically. Rise of Ronin, it could happen anytime. We don't know if it's a 3, 6, or 12-month exclusivity deal. A lot of these are 6 months with third parties, but because Rise of Ronin and Stellar Blade are smaller companies that don't have the leverage of Square Enix, it's probably most likely a year for some of these games. I'm going to suggest that Rise of Ronin is basically a year. I believe Neo came later to PC. I'm not 100% sure, but their exclusivity deals probably are very similar. They've worked in the past. And then that leaves us with Stellar Blade. And I think Stellar Blade is an exception to this rule. I think Stellar Blade was made for the PC through Project Eve. And then Sony stepped in and secured exclusivity rights. But it's made on Unreal Engine. We can see the framework of it. Obviously, it's modified like most of these games that are using some form of Unreal Engine. But even with its modifications, I still think most likely they'll come to PC within 6 months, if not sooner. There is the possibility that it slips until 2025, but I doubt it. I do think it'll come within 6 months. And let's be very clear. Stellar Blade will 100% be on PC eventually. And eventually means relatively soon. Rise of Ronin will definitely be on PC eventually, relatively soon. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, again, all these are going to be on PC. There isn't very many games that are not going to be on PC. Gran Turismo 7 is a question. Demon Souls is a question. Destruction's All-Stars may be the only last PlayStation exclusive ever. And that to me is insane. It's not a very good game from what I hear. I've never played it, which says a lot. I even played Gran Turismo 7, even though it wasn't my thing. I rented it through GameFly, and I returned it in a week after I did like a free trial for GameFly. I had a good time with it. Spent about 12 hours in it, and that's all I needed from that game. I don't need any more. And that's where we're at. So for anybody that's wondering if Stellar Blade will be on PC, you can almost guarantee it's going to be on. You can I'm going to say 100%, but if you want to 50-50, 75, fine. But based on everything I've just said about all the other exclusives that are on PlayStation that are coming to PC, some of them are confirmed, other ones are expected. The trajectory, all the CEOs from, all the executives and CEOs from Sony are basically saying the same thing. I think with Helldivers 2 success, it's just going to further increase the chances of it all coming to PC. But my name is Plazookas. If you like this content, like, subscribe. I'll see you in my next video. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.